Time for another analysis. Today I'm going to be talking about the costuming of Mike and Will in season 4. There's an interesting pattern here going on, and I think it's worth digging into. When Mike first arrives in Lenora, we know that he's being pretty phony. But something that I find really interesting is that the blue in his shirt up here and the blue in Will's shirt over there are really similar. We also see them wear a lot of yellow and blue. It doesn't seem to be that one wears yellow and one wears blue all the time. They both wear yellow and blue. This one's really interesting. So we see that Mike and Will are really not on the same page during this scene. Mike is clearly preoccupied and Will is just staring at Mike. But the yellows and blues in their shirts are almost identical. These are Will's shirt colors and these are Mike's shirt colors. This is particularly interesting because they're both wearing yellow and blue. Even though they're not really on speaking terms at this particular moment, they're color coordinated. Then we get to their final costumes. Will is now in yellow and Mike is in blue. However, the blue in Will's shirt is almost the same as the blue in Mike's shirt. Here's Will's blue, here's Mike's blue. Something else really interesting about the costuming choices for this season is the fact that this shirt for Mike was custom made. They put a pocket right over his heart with an arrow on it. If this was custom made, that means that the arrow is intentional. You can see that Mike's arrow pocket is pointing at Will in many of their scenes together. They've kind of created a pattern where Mike is usually on our left and Will is usually on our right. Not always, but in a lot of their scenes. Even here in a group scene where Mike and Will are standing super close, you can see that the arrow pocket is pointing directly at Will. And apparently so are Mike's eyeballs. Even in this scene, where Elle and Mike are eating pizza, Mike is sitting in a way that his arrow pocket is pointing to the kitchen, where Will is. The main scene that we see Mike and Will switch positions is in the van scene. This is really interesting because this is the scene where Mike and Will are discussing Mike's feelings about Elle and Elle's feelings about Mike, aka Will's feelings about Mike. They're kind of dancing around the truth in this scene. I'm still not completely sold on how much Mike understood what Will was saying. But it doesn't really matter. If Mike did understand what Will was saying, the heart pocket could be pointing away because he's not ready to admit his own feelings. He's trying to stay in the closet, essentially. If he doesn't understand what Will is saying, the heart pocket could be pointing away because they're not on the same page. He thinks that what Will is saying is about Elle. The color coordination of their costumes gets the audience to tie these two together in their head.